LeBron James was not born into greatness. He was born into struggle. Long before the championships, fame, $1 billion, and worldwide respect, there was a scared little kid growing up in the dangerous streets of Akron, living in poverty with a teenage mother who was trying desperately to survive. LeBron James was born on December 30th, 1984, to Gloria James, a 16-year-old girl with almost no support, no stability, and no money. His father, Anthony McClelland, was involved in crime and stayed absent from LeBron's life, leaving Gloria alone to raise her son in one of the toughest environments imaginable. Their life was unstable from the very beginning. They constantly moved from apartment to apartment, sometimes unable to pay rent, sometimes staying with relatives, and sometimes living in dangerous neighborhoods filled with drugs, violence, and hopelessness. As a child, LeBron often missed school because his family moved so frequently, and there were moments when life felt completely out of control. But despite all the chaos around him, one thing began changing his life forever: basketball. The game became his escape from pain, fear, and loneliness. It gave him purpose. It gave him focus. And most importantly, it gave him hope. At a very young age, LeBron showed unbelievable athletic ability. He was stronger, faster, and more talented than almost every kid around him. People quickly realized there was something special about this child. One of the most important people in LeBron's early life was youth football coach Frank Walker, who saw potential in him and eventually allowed LeBron to stay with his family during difficult times. That decision may have saved LeBron's future. Walker introduced him to discipline, stability, and structure, things LeBron desperately needed. As LeBron entered school basketball, his talent exploded rapidly. Soon, he began playing for St. Vincent, St. Mary High School, where he became one of the most hyped teenage athletes America had ever seen. High school basketball games suddenly became national events whenever LeBron stepped onto the court. Crowds filled arenas just to watch a teenager play. Reporters followed him everywhere. Cameras constantly surrounded him. Sports journalists called him the Chosen One, a nickname that brought both greatness and unbearable pressure. At only 17 years old, LeBron appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated, something almost unheard of for a high school athlete. America believed he was the next basketball king, the next Michael Jordan, the future face of the NBA. The pressure was enormous. Millions expected perfection from a teenager who had grown up in poverty. But LeBron never broke under the weight of expectations. Instead, he dominated even harder. His games became legendary because he combined power, speed, intelligence, and passing ability in a way basketball had never truly seen before. He looked unstoppable. In 2003, the entire basketball world watched the NBA draft as Cleveland Cavaliers selected LeBron James as the #1 overall pick. It was a historic moment. A poor kid from Akron had officially reached the biggest basketball stage in the world. The pressure became even bigger after entering the NBA, but LeBron shocked everyone immediately. From his very first games, he looked like a superstar. He scored effortlessly, made impossible passes, and controlled games with unbelievable confidence. Fans realized the hype was real. He was not just another talented player. He was a generational phenomenon. Over the next few years, LeBron transformed into one of the most famous athletes on earth. He won MVP awards, broke records, and carried the Cavaliers to the NBA Finals almost by himself. But despite his incredible success, critics constantly attacked him for one thing: he had not yet won a championship. Many people began questioning whether he could truly become one of the greatest players ever without a title. Then came one of the most controversial moments in sports history. In 2010, LeBron made the shocking decision to leave Cleveland and join Miami Heat alongside superstars Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. During a live television special called The Decision, LeBron announced the words that changed basketball forever: "I'm taking my talents to South Beach." The reaction was explosive. Cleveland fans felt betrayed. People burned his jerseys in the streets. Sports media attacked him nonstop. Overnight, LeBron became the villain of basketball. The pressure became unbearable. Every arena hated him. Every crowd booed him. Every failure became global news. But LeBron used the hate as fuel. In Miami, he transformed both mentally and physically. He became more disciplined, more aggressive, and more unstoppable than ever before. Eventually, he silenced critics by winning NBA championships with the Heat and proving he could perform under pressure. Yet despite the success, something still felt incomplete. His hometown Cleveland Cavaliers still had no championship, and deep inside, LeBron knew he had unfinished business. In 2014, he made another shocking decision, returning to Cleveland. This time, fans welcomed him back as a hero. LeBron promised to bring a championship to the city that had supported him since childhood. What happened next became one of the greatest stories in sports history. In the 2016 NBA Finals, the Cavaliers faced the powerful Golden State Warriors, a team that had broken records and looked nearly unbeatable. Cleveland fell behind 3-1 in the series. No team in NBA history had ever come back from such a deficit in the finals. Most people believed the series was over. But LeBron refused to quit. He delivered some of the greatest performances basketball had ever seen. Then came the legendary moment forever known simply as the block, where LeBron chased down Andre Iguodala and made one of the most iconic defensive plays in NBA history. That moment changed everything. Cleveland completed the impossible comeback and won the championship. LeBron collapsed to the floor crying because he had finally fulfilled his promise to his city. It was bigger than basketball. It was redemption. It was legacy. After conquering Cleveland, LeBron later joined Los Angeles Lakers and continued building his legacy by winning another championship while expanding his influence far beyond sports. Unlike many athletes, LeBron also became a powerful businessman, activist, philanthropist, and cultural icon. He launched media companies, signed billion-dollar deals, and used his platform to speak about racism, injustice, and education. One of his proudest achievements became opening the I Promise School for struggling children in Akron, helping kids from backgrounds similar to his own receive education and opportunities. Throughout his journey, LeBron always stayed deeply connected to family. His relationship with his wife, Savannah, remained strong despite worldwide fame, and fatherhood became one of the most emotional parts of his life. One of LeBron's biggest dreams was playing in the NBA alongside his son LeBron James, proving how much family means to him. Over the years, debates constantly compared LeBron to Michael Jordan, questioning who truly deserves the title of greatest basketball player of all time. Some fans believe Jordan remains untouchable. Others believe LeBron's longevity, versatility, statistics, leadership, and influence make him the greatest ever. But regardless of opinions, one thing is undeniable. LeBron James changed basketball forever. He inspired millions of kids growing up in poverty. He proved that even a child raised without stability, money, or a father could still become one of the most powerful athletes in history through discipline, hard work, and belief. His story is not just about basketball. It is about survival, pressure, sacrifice, criticism, redemption, and greatness. From sleeping in unstable homes as a child to becoming a billionaire global icon, LeBron James built one of the greatest success stories sports has ever seen, and that is why the world will always remember him not just as a player, but as a king. LeBron James was no longer just an NBA superstar after winning championships. He had become a global icon. But fame at that level brings pressure that most people can never understand. Everywhere LeBron went, cameras followed him. Every game became international news. Every mistake became a headline. Millions loved him, but millions also waited for him to fail. The comparisons with Michael Jordan became non-stop. Sports shows argued every day about who was the greatest basketball player of all time. Some people respected LeBron's greatness, while others constantly criticized him no matter what he achieved. But one thing that separated LeBron from many athletes was his mentality. He used criticism as motivation. He trained harder, studied the game more deeply, and pushed his body beyond limits. Even in his late 30s, when most basketball players become slow and weak, LeBron continued dominating younger athletes because of his discipline and physical conditioning. He spent millions of dollars every year on his body, including trainers, recovery specialists, diet programs, cryotherapy, and advanced fitness routines. He understood that greatness requires sacrifice. While other athletes partied constantly, LeBron focused on longevity and legacy. Off the court, LeBron became much bigger than basketball. He built powerful business partnerships with companies like Nike and created his own media empire through Spring Hill Entertainment, producing movies, documentaries, and television content. He understood that athletes should control their own stories and businesses instead of allowing corporations to control everything. His intelligence in business surprised many people because critics once assumed he was only an athlete, but LeBron proved he had the mindset of an entrepreneur and leader. He eventually became one of the first billionaire athletes in NBA history, a shocking achievement for someone who grew up in extreme poverty. Yet despite the money and fame, LeBron never forgot where he came from. He constantly spoke about the struggles of poor communities, racism, violence, and lack of opportunity. Many athletes avoid discussing social issues because they fear controversy, but LeBron chose to speak openly about injustice in America. Some people praised him for using his platform responsibly, while others attacked him for being too political. Still, LeBron refused to stay silent. One of the most emotional chapters of his life came when he opened the I Promise School in Akron for struggling children and families. This was not just a publicity stunt. The school offered education, support programs, meals, transportation, and opportunities for children facing difficult lives similar to the childhood LeBron experienced himself. For LeBron, this achievement meant more than trophies because he was directly changing lives. Many people considered it one of the greatest acts of philanthropy ever done by an athlete. Meanwhile, his basketball career continued, creating unforgettable moments. After joining the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron faced another challenge, restoring one of the most legendary franchises in sports history. At first, critics doubted him again. Some believed he was too old. Others claimed his best years were over. But LeBron once again proved everyone wrong. In 2020, during one of the strangest seasons in sports history because of the global pandemic, LeBron led the Lakers to an NBA championship inside the isolated NBA bubble in Orlando. The emotional weight of that championship became even heavier after the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest Lakers legends ever. Kobe's death shocked the basketball world and deeply affected LeBron personally because Kobe had become both mentor and inspiration. Throughout that championship run, LeBron played with extra emotion, knowing the city of Los Angeles was grieving. Winning the title felt like honoring Kobe's legacy. Over time, LeBron's relationship with fans also evolved. Younger generations who once criticized him began appreciating his greatness more deeply as they realized they were witnessing history in real time. His longevity became almost unbelievable. Season after season, LeBron continued breaking records that experts once thought were impossible to touch. Eventually, he surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer, another historic moment proving his consistency and dominance across 2 decades. What made this achievement extraordinary was that LeBron was never considered purely a scorer. He was known for passing, leadership, basketball IQ, and versatility, yet he still became the greatest scorer in league history. That alone showed how complete his game truly was. Beyond statistics, LeBron changed the way basketball players viewed power and freedom. Before LeBron's era, teams and owners controlled almost everything. But LeBron showed players they could control their own careers, make bold decisions, build brands, and influence business at the highest level. Many younger athletes began following his blueprint. He transformed what it meant to be a modern superstar athlete. Another important part of LeBron's story is fatherhood. Unlike many celebrities whose families stay hidden, LeBron often proudly supported his sons, especially Bronny James. Watching Bronny grow as a basketball player became emotional for LeBron because it reminded him of his own childhood dreams. One of LeBron's biggest goals became playing in the NBA with his son before retirement, something almost unimaginable in professional sports. The possibility of a father and son sharing the same NBA court created worldwide excitement because it symbolized not only basketball greatness, but generational legacy. Throughout his life, LeBron also faced intense mental pressure. Imagine entering the NBA as a teenager while the entire world expects you to become perfect. Most young athletes collapse under such expectations, but LeBron somehow survived and exceeded them. For over 20 years, he carried enormous pressure without major scandals destroying his career. That level of discipline is extremely rare in sports history. His enemies searched constantly for reasons to criticize him, but LeBron continued focusing on his goals. He became obsessed with mastering every aspect of basketball: scoring, passing, leadership, defense, conditioning, and strategy. Coaches often described him as one of the smartest basketball minds ever. He could memorize plays instantly, predict opponents' movements, and control the tempo of games like a chess master. Many players feared not only his physical power, but also his intelligence. As the years passed, LeBron's story became larger than sports itself. He represented ambition, resilience, and survival. Poor children from around the world looked at him as proof that impossible dreams can become reality. His journey from unstable apartments in Akron to billionaire icon status felt almost unreal. Yet LeBron's story was never completely smooth. He suffered painful losses in NBA Finals, devastating criticism from media, injuries, public hate, and constant pressure. But every failure seemed to make him mentally stronger. He learned how to respond under pressure instead of breaking beneath it. That mindset became one of his greatest weapons. Even opponents respected his work ethic and leadership. Younger players entering the NBA often treated LeBron with awe because they grew up watching him dominate television for their entire childhoods. He became both competitor and living legend at the same time. By this point, LeBron James was no longer just chasing championships. He was chasing immortality. Every game added another chapter to a story already considered one of the greatest in sports history. Fans debated whether anyone would ever repeat his combination of longevity, power, intelligence, consistency, fame, and influence. Some athletes become stars for a few years and disappear, but LeBron remained elite across generations. He played against legends from multiple eras and still dominated. That kind of longevity almost defies logic. And perhaps the most incredible part of LeBron James' story is this. Despite becoming one of the most famous people on earth, despite earning billions, despite achieving global success, deep inside, he never forgot the scared little boy from Akron who simply wanted a better life for himself and his mother. Every championship, every record, every business move, every school he opened, and every speech he gave carried the memory of that struggle. That pain became fuel. That struggle became motivation. And that motivation transformed LeBron James from a poor kid with impossible dreams into one of the greatest athletes the world has ever seen. LeBron James had already conquered basketball, but as his fame continued growing, people slowly realized they were witnessing something much bigger than sports. He was becoming a cultural symbol. Every arena he entered felt electric. Fans screamed before he even touched the ball. Opposing crowds booed him loudly because greatness always creates both admiration and jealousy. Young athletes copied his moves, wore his shoes, repeated his celebrations, and dreamed of becoming the next LeBron. Yet behind the cameras and fame, the pressure on his shoulders remained enormous. Every season carried impossible expectations. If he scored 30 points, people expected 40 next game. If he reached the finals, critics demanded championships. If he won championships, critics compared him to older legends. The world never stopped judging him. But LeBron learned something powerful very early. Pressure can either destroy you or transform you. Instead of running from expectations, he embraced them. That mentality became the foundation of his greatness. Throughout his career, LeBron constantly evolved his game. Early in his career, he dominated mostly with athleticism, overpowering defenders with speed and strength. But as he aged, he transformed into a master strategist. He studied basketball obsessively. Coaches described him as having one of the highest basketball IQs ever seen. During games, he could predict opponents' plays before they even happened. He controlled the pace like a general leading an army. Younger teammates often look shocked by how much knowledge he carried inside his mind. Beyond basketball, LeBron also became obsessed with protecting his image and legacy. He understood fame can destroy athletes mentally if they lose focus. Many talented stars before him lost their careers because of drugs, partying, violence, scandals, or bad decisions, but LeBron stayed disciplined for decades. That discipline separated him from many other superstars. He rarely appeared in scandals, avoided dangerous lifestyles, and focused heavily on family. His relationship with Savannah James became another important part of his image because fans respected how he remained loyal despite global fame and temptation. Together, they built a strong family foundation while raising their children away from unnecessary chaos. As LeBron's sons grew older, especially Bronny James, cameras once again followed the James family everywhere. Fans became fascinated by the idea that LeBron's son might continue the legacy. For LeBron, this was deeply emotional because he never had a father guiding him through life. He wanted to become the father he himself never experienced. Every time he watched Bronny play basketball, people could see pride and emotion in his eyes. His dream of playing in the NBA alongside his son became one of the most beautiful storylines in sports history. Imagine the emotional power of that moment. A man who grew up poor, fatherless, and struggling in Akron now standing beside his son on the biggest basketball stage in the world. It felt almost cinematic. But even while building this family legacy, LeBron continued facing criticism. Some fans accused him of controlling teams too much. Others attacked his political opinions. Social media intensified every controversy because modern athletes live under non-stop public attention. Yet LeBron never allowed hate to stop him. He understood that leadership often requires accepting criticism. One of the most emotional moments of LeBron's later career came during the tragic death of Kobe Bryant in 2020. Kobe was more than a basketball legend to LeBron. He was a mentor, competitor, and inspiration. The basketball world entered shock after Kobe's helicopter crash killed him, his daughter Gianna, and several others. LeBron openly showed grief and heartbreak. Many people noticed how emotionally affected he became because Kobe represented greatness, obsession, and relentless work ethic, qualities LeBron deeply respected. When LeBron later helped lead the Los Angeles Lakers to a championship in the NBA bubble, fans believed he was carrying Kobe's spirit with him throughout the journey. That championship felt emotional not only for basketball but for the entire city of Los Angeles. During the bubble season, players lived isolated away from families due to the pandemic. Mental pressure became extreme. Yet LeBron stayed focused, proving once again that his leadership under pressure was elite. As his career entered later stages, discussions about the greatest basketball player ever became louder than ever before. Some argued that Michael Jordan still remained untouchable because of his perfect finals record and killer mentality. Others believed LeBron's complete game, versatility, longevity, and all-around impact made him superior. Television debates exploded daily. Fans fought constantly online. But regardless of opinions, almost everyone agreed on one thing: LeBron belonged at the very top of basketball history. Very few athletes across all sports ever reached such universal recognition. Another reason LeBron became legendary was his ability to dominate across different eras. He entered the NBA in 2003 when basketball looked completely different. He faced legends from older generations, survived multiple changes in playing styles, adapted to faster modern basketball, and still remained elite more than 20 years later. Most athletes declined quickly after age 30, but LeBron continued performing like a superstar deep into his late 30s and beyond. That level of longevity shocked even sports scientists. His body became almost mythological in basketball culture. Fans joked that LeBron was built like a machine because of how physically unstoppable he remained. But behind that durability was extreme dedication. He reportedly spent over $1 million every year maintaining his body through training, recovery, nutrition, sleep programs, ice therapy, stretching, and medical specialists. He treated his body like an investment because he understood greatness must be protected daily. Meanwhile, off the court, LeBron's business empire kept growing. He appeared in movies, launched television productions, invested in companies, and became one of the richest athletes alive. Unlike many former players who lose money after retirement, LeBron carefully built long-term wealth. Billionaires learned business strategies and surrounded himself with intelligent advisors. His childhood friends also became part of his business team, showing his loyalty and trust in those who supported him before fame arrived. That loyalty became one of LeBron's strongest personal qualities. Many people from his hometown respected him because he never completely abandoned Akron after becoming rich. He returned repeatedly, invested in the community, and created opportunities for struggling families. His story inspired millions beyond America. Around the world, poor children saw LeBron as proof that impossible dreams can become reality through discipline and belief. His documentaries, interviews, and speeches often emphasized hard work, sacrifice, and mental strength. He openly discussed pressure and fear, showing younger athletes that even superstars experience doubt sometimes. This honesty made him relatable despite his fame. As records continued falling one after another, LeBron eventually surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer, a milestone many experts once believed would never happen. The moment became historic because LeBron had maintained elite performance for 2 entire decades without slowing down significantly. Fans inside arenas stood crying and cheering because they realized they were witnessing history live. Yet even after breaking records, LeBron never seemed satisfied. Greatness had become part of his identity. Every season he searched for new goals, new challenges, and new ways to evolve. Some players chase money. Some chase fame. But LeBron chased immortality. He wanted his story remembered forever. And perhaps that is exactly what makes LeBron James different from ordinary athletes. He did not simply win games. He changed culture. He changed business. He changed player empowerment. He changed how athletes use their voices socially and politically. He changed how long greatness can last. And most importantly, he changed millions of lives through inspiration alone. The boy born into poverty in Akron eventually became one of the most influential athletes in human history. A child raised without stability became the king of basketball. A teenager called the Chosen One somehow survived the impossible pressure placed upon him and fulfilled expectations greater than almost anyone in sports history. That journey feels almost unreal, which is why the story of LeBron James continues inspiring people across generations, countries, and cultures. Because deep inside every championship, every emotional speech, every record broken, and every roaring crowd, there still exists the same poor kid searching for hope on the streets of Akron, dreaming that basketball could save his life one day.